Urgent America's Team fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest your team news, and don't forget to turn on notifications. So, you don't miss anything. Mike McCarthy sends message on Cowboys first round. Pick former Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy shared a candid reaction to Dallas first round selection of Tyler Booker on Thursday. The Cowboys and McCarthy mutually agreed to part ways in January following a 7-10 campaign. While McCarthy explored other coaching opportunities, he has decided to take the upcoming year off. In his place, Dallas promoted offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer to head coach. McCarthy is dabbling in media during his time away from football and appeared on Pat McAfee's Draft Spectacular show Thursday during the first round of the NFL Draft. He weighed in on Dallas taking Tyler Booker at number 12 overall, a pick that sparked mixed reactions from fans. But McCarthy backed the move, saying it's the same call he would have made if he were still running the show in Dallas. "If you had asked me who'd we be picking, this is the way I think we'd go," McCarthy said. "It's an offensive line that is better today than it was this point last year because they had 5 young offensive linemen play a ton of football. Now, you're adding Tyler, I think you're hopefully getting back to the good old days in Dallas. Mike McCarthy loved my time with Cowboys." McCarthy also shared his perspective on how his tenure in Dallas came to an end and whether he harbors any lingering resentment. "No, not at all. I loved my time in Dallas. I'm actually getting to enjoy the city the last couple of months. Great city, phenomenal organization," McCarthy said. "Cannot say enough about Jerry and Eugenia and the Jones family. I'm a better man today than I was when I went to Dallas." McCarthy has a Super Bowl on his resume and has notched 174 wins over 18 NFL seasons. He led the Cowboys to 3 straight 12-win seasons before stumbling in 2024. Despite the regular season success, Dallas managed just 1 playoff appearance under his watch. Cowboys ecstatic about Tyler Booker. Pick Booker was touted as the top interior lineman in the draft class. But at number 12, some dubbed the pick a reach, especially considering that Dallas is in need of playmakers. That said, the Cowboys felt very confident in the pick and Booker's future in Dallas at right guard. "You see it on the tape. Number 1, Cowboys," Vice President of Player Personnel Will McClay said, "and then you get it from the school and the people that have experienced him. Then our scouts spend individual time with him. Then we saw him at the combine. Then we got him in here. You get him on the phone. You find out more and more about what type of determination he has, where he comes from, the things that helps. Build your team is when you have a great leader like Dak, you surround him with great players that have the same mentality. It gives us a shot, and this kid has got that." The Cowboys will still have a chance to address some needs, which include running back, wide receiver, and cornerback. Dallas' next pick comes at number 44 overall in the second round. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest America's Team news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now, let's get back to the news. Free agent Stephon Gilmore visits Cowboys. Stephen Jones calls player acquisition year-round. Gilmore left Cowboys HQ without a deal on Tuesday, but that's not an indication of whether or not he will be signed, the cornerback. Position is undeniably one of the Dallas Cowboys' biggest remaining needs ahead of the 2025 NFL Draft that kicks off on Thursday. All-Pro corner Trevon Diggs suffered a season-ending knee injury that required surgery in December, and reliable nickel corner Jordan Lewis signed a 3-year, $30 million contract that included $20 million guaranteed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. In free agency, outside of 2023 All-Pro Daron Bland, the rest of Dallas cornerbacks room is relatively unproven. Kalen Carson, a 2024 fifth-round pick, and Kair Elam, a 2022 first-round pick of the Buffalo Bills, whom Dallas acquired in a trade this offseason, stand as the next 2 options on the depth chart for Week 1. Carson dealt with a nagging shoulder injury all season before undergoing season-ending surgery in December. That's why current free agent and former Cowboys cornerback Stephon Gilmore visited Dallas at the Star, the Cowboys team facility, on Tuesday. Gilmore, who played 1 season in Dallas in 2023, was spotted walking through the lobby of the building through the glass of the team's press conference room, while Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones, COO, and EVP Stephen Jones head coach Brian Schottenheimer and VP of Player Personnel Will McClay were conducting their pre-draft press conference. Well, we are always looking to make our roster better, which is what I would say about any player. Cowboys COO and EVP Stephen Jones said Tuesday when asked about Gilmore after he walked by. Obviously, we did some work in free agency and via trade with cornerback Khair Elam. Certainly we're fired up with 2024 fifth-round pick Kalen Carson coming back off an injury that really limited him after the first 3 or 4 games. We do feel like we got some good corners, but we're always looking to make things better. Now we have players who we'd like to think love to come back and say hi. It doesn't always mean because they're in the building that a deal is in the works. But I think in general our player acquisition, I always say it's year-round. We're always looking to get better. We see that opportunity, then we'll do it. Obviously there's a big focus on the draft right now, but it doesn't rule out that we're not looking at trades or still looking at signing other players. At this time last year, the Cowboys were in talks with ex-running back Ezekiel Elliott about a Dallas return that eventually happened. Gilmore, the 2029 NFL Defensive Player of the Year, who is a 5-time Pro Bowler and 2-time first-team All-Pro 2018-2019, is set to enter his 14th NFL season in 2025 after being selected 10th overall out of South Carolina by the Buffalo Bills in the 2012 NFL Draft. He produced a 63 passer rating as the primary defender in coverage in 2023 with the Cowboys, which ranked 9th best in the NFL among 39 players with 80 or more passes thrown their way. The 34-year-old, who will turn 35 years old on September 19, produced a 78. 0 passer rating as the primary defender in coverage with the Minnesota Vikings in 2024, which ranked 19th among 32 players with at least 85 passes thrown their way in 2024. Gilmore checks some of the boxes Schottenheimer laid out when asked what Dallas looks for in a cornerback, standing at 6 feet tall and weighing 190 pounds. He could also be a mentor for the youth in the cornerbacks room like he did for Bland during his breakout 2023 season, in which he led the NFL with 9 interceptions. 5 of them were interception return touchdowns, which set an NFL Thayer's certainly measurables. You want length, you want size. The ability to play press man-to-man. Coverage. The big thing for us defensively, Flus defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. Is this way, there's no house guests, so everybody's got to be willing to tackle and support the run with the thing that we do, Schottenheimer said. Again, they come in all shapes and sizes, man. If the Gilmore development follows the same timeline as Elliott's return to the Cowboys a year ago, he could return to Dallas in the next week or so. Certainly no guarantees, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. This player kept Dallas from being first round's biggest loser, I'll be honest with you. As soon as the Dallas Cowboys pick of another offensive lineman was announced, I almost called it a night. Shoot, for a fleeting moment, I was about to call it a season. And there's still 6 more rounds of this draft to play out. Is Tyler Booker a bad player? No. He's certainly not a threat to be the kind of bust Mazi Smith was 2 years ago, but an offensive lineman was not the Cowboys' biggest area of need on Thursday night. Dallas needed, and now still needs, playmakers on offense. Players who have the ball in their hand with the intent of finding the end zone. They didn't get that with the Booker selection. Over the last 3 drafts, the Cowboys have taken defensive tackle, offensive tackle, and now offensive guard. Do you recall the old rental car commercial with legendary NHL goalie Patrick Roy? He fielded a junior hockey team with nothing by goalies. Lately, it seems like the Cowboys front office is determined to field a team with 11 linemen on both sides of the ball. It won't work, and that's why I was so frustrated last night. I suspect that many of you were too. No playmakers left with running back Ashton Jeanty off the board at 6 to the Raiders, and receiver Tetaroa McMillan going 2 picks. Later to the Panthers, Dallas couldn't afford to gamble. But they did anyway. After the Cowboys, these players, difference makers all, were taken in the first round. Receiver Emeka Egbuka went to Tampa Bay at 19. Running back Omarion Hampton went to the Chargers at 22. With the very next pick, Texas. Receiver Matthew Golden was off to Green Bay. There will be 11 picks made before the Cowboys make their next pick. If, by some miracle, receiver Luther Burden III is still available when they go on the clock, he must be the pick if they are to salvage this draft, because there are no other game-changing running backs or receivers left in this draft. There are some good players at the position, yes, but no running back able to carry a team on his back, certainly no receiver capable of commanding the attention needed to pull double teams off of CeeDee Lamb. That was the Cowboys' assignment on Thursday night. They failed miserably. Yet again. Stop the insanity. The definition of insanity, as the saying goes, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If that doesn't perfectly describe the Dallas Cowboys of the 21st century, I don't know what does. After blundering their way through the first two rounds of the 2023 and 2024 NFL drafts, one had hoped that they would go a different path in 2025. They didn't on Thursday night. They aren't giving me any reason to believe they'll get it right early Friday evening either. Dallas' latest misstep is made worse by the strong night the other NFC East teams enjoyed. The Giants landed edge player Abdul Carter. They then traded back into the first round to land their quarterback of the future in Jackson Dart. The Commanders shored up their offensive line. They could afford to do that because they have playmakers in their backfield. The Eagles landed a solid linebacker to help them try to defend their title. All three teams identified their greatest area of need and filled it. The Cowboys didn't even come close. The biggest loser, there was one player that saved the Cowboys from being the biggest loser of the first round. Dallas can thank Shadir Sanders for saving them from that dubious distinction. Sanders' attitude and approach to this offseason's lead up to the draft turned off many league executives, so much so that he plummeted from a top 5 pick all the way. Out of the first round, the Browns have the first pick of tonight's second round. The expectation is that they will likely take him with the 33rd overall pick, but they might go for Alabama's Jalen Milroe instead. If that happens, Sanders could fall all the way to 40th and the New Orleans Saints. If the Saints pass on him, he could be looking at the third round, or worse. And now, America's team fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for America's team. I'll be back any moment with more America's team news. How about them Cowboys?